Statistically speaking, the majority of you have not gotten a degree in translation. So even if you're working as a freelance translator, you don't have a degree specifically in translation, while other people do. And so you might feel at a disadvantage because when you get a degree in translation, you learn a lot of the theory behind translation and what it entails a lot further than just the nitty-gritty of going through the translation itself. So I've been asked the question a couple times, where can I learn more about translation theory and how can I educate myself in that sense? So let's get into this. So first of all, if you do not have a degree in translation and you want to learn more about translation theory, there are a couple things you can do. First of all, you can go to your local school, college, university, wherever you might be, and see if they offer a course like that. Maybe you can take a night course or something along those lines and learn more about it. But before you do that, I wanted to ask you a question. I wanted to ask you why you want to learn more about this. And there are basically two reasons for this. One is that the client seems to require it. They're like, oh, we need a degree in translation. We need something along those lines. In which case you feel like, well, then I need to go get my degree. Now, a degree, however, is a big commitment. It can take a couple of years. It costs a lot of money, stuff like that. So maybe look into the fact that you have a portfolio. If you have a portfolio of past translations, and also if you can get accredited or certified in a certain language combination or something along those lines, and basically you can get a track record of ratings and references. If you have these, send these to the client. Be like, look, I obviously know what I'm doing. What do you say? My guess is that if you have a proven track record in the industry and show that it's a proven track record, that you know what you're doing, they're gonna be fine with that. Also remember that getting a translation degree is very language specific and country specific as well. So very often if you get a degree in a certain country, another country might not really know what it is. They might not recognize it or stuff like that. So be very careful with this before you start going down that path blindly. Now, the other reason why you want to get it is that you just want to improve your skills. You want to become a better translator. And so then certainly, look into the schools. You can also check out books that discuss translation theory. And by the way, I say this, I read quite a few books on translation theory. Tim Parks is one of my favorite authors who talks about it. But yeah, a lot of people talk about it. I enjoy reading about language linguistics as well. And I find it very interesting. But here I'm talking about whether it's useful for your career or not. And so yeah, by all means, look into schools, look into programs. You can also join groups and forums and stuff like that where they discuss translation and translation theory. I'm sure you can find threads on it online. But quite frankly, if you want to improve and get better at translation, the best way is to just translate. Just practice translation. I have many videos here on this channel where I talk about various methods and ways of practicing translation and trying to improve and get better. And my recommendation is just to do that. Just keep practicing, just keep up your skills and keep performing translations. And that way you'll get better and better and better. If you want to do it for a certain specialization or niche, then do that. And I think that way you will get a lot more bang for your buck than any of these other endeavors. And so by all means, if you find it interesting, you find it fun, and you find it edifying to do something like that, then absolutely do it. But if this is purely for your career and for earning more money and being a better translator, I don't see it as necessary. Full disclosure, I do not have a degree in translation. Obviously, my career is still in translation, and I find that fine. I hire people with degrees and without degrees. And in fact, I think there's a certain dichotomy, but it's something to keep in mind. So for instance, if I hire someone for a legal translation, if I have the choice of hiring someone with a degree in translation or a law degree, chances are I'm going to choose the person with a law degree. Obviously, the devil's in the details, and so I need to see all that. But if they've been operating in the legal world in both languages, I know that they're familiar with the terms and what's being looked for in both languages. And very often that's more valuable to me than someone who studied a lot of theory. So just keep that in mind. I'm not knocking on people who have a degree in translation, obviously, because having a degree in translation gives you a much better, broader understanding of translation in general in a way that even I don't have at this point. Because and I notice this when I talk to translators, it's pretty interesting. And in fact, quite frankly, people with translation degrees are a lot more interesting to talk to about translation because they have a much better bird's eye view of the industry and of translation as a whole. I think it helps you in noticing trends, in noticing when certain things are changing or what's acceptable, what's not, and stuff like that. But again, these are quite nuanced and they can be very specific to each person. So if you're looking for something to improve your career right then and there, by all means look into a translation degree or learning more about it, but look into the alternatives as well, because you might find that they are just as useful, if not more useful. Anyway, just my 2 cents about getting educated in translation theory, and hopefully you find this useful, and otherwise I'll talk to you next time. Savedum!